Good morning, all. Today we are going to continue the discussion regarding the classification of control systems, and we are going to see a few more examples, practical examples of control systems. In the previous class, I'll just recall what all we discussed. We have seen what is a system in general, then technical term, how system is defined, interconnection of set of components connected together in order to perform a specific task. Then what is a control system? Control system uh, wherein the output is controlled by means of the input. We are controlling the output by means of input. This we had seen few examples. You can see it here. The block diagram, general block diagram of a control system we had seen here. This was one block which we have seen, wherein the input, the example of automobile, that is four-wheeler driving system. Depending upon the pressure applied on the accelerator pedal, the amount of the fuel flow, it will be decided whether to increase or decrease the speed. This is one example which we had seen. And one more example which is slightly different from the earlier one, again automobile driving system, but here we are giving a feedback. You can see it. We are giving a feedback, that is output is given as a reference towards the input. Example, I think we had taken one speed. If I want to maintain a speed of say 50 kilometers per hour, irrespective of the road conditions, the performance, the mileage, and traffic conditions, suppose I have achieved to start with some 10, 20, 30, 40 kilometers per hour. Then if the driver compares, I desire 50, but I have achieved 40. So there is a difference of 10. So depending on that, I need to increase speed 10 kilometers further. So the force or the pressure applied on the accelerator will be more. So driver will act accordingly. So fuel will start flowing more and the speed increases. Okay? When the desired speed is achieved, say 50 kilometers per hour, the same speed will be maintained. The difference between these two figures is that in the earlier figure, we have not seen any feedback. In the second figure, we have a feedback. So we call the earlier figure as open loop control system, this as closed loop control system. Even this, whether we have seen this? No. Yeah, this figure, let me just explain you. It is again automobile driving system. If you can see, this is the actual path. Okay, the road is there is a curvature here. Your vehicle is somewhere in this angle. Okay, here the main action is I'm talking about steering wheel of the car. So the main action of the driver will be what? Changing the position of the car. So if this is your desired angle and this is your actual, you're moving in this angle, so there is a little bit difference in the direction. So if this is your desired angle and this is your actual, you're moving in this angle, so there is a little bit difference in the direction. So you are moving in one direction and you have achieved some direction, you're going in one direction, and the desired value is moving, you have got some output, that is you are now in some direction here, and actually desired angle is this. This is your let me just You can see it. This angle you are actually moving. So this is your output you got. And this is your desired output. In this direction you want to move. So that is the desired course. So what the driver will do, depending upon the steering wheel mechanism, there will be a judgment, right? When you are driving a four-wheeler, you'll be having the judgment. By moving in what angle of the steering wheel, you're going to achieve a specific direction. So the driver will do that. The steering mechanism will be worked on. And then through this mechanism, we are going to achieve a little bending. That is, the deviation in the angles. Slowly, we will achieve this desired action. So for this, there has to be a feedback because you need to have a judgment. This is your required angle. This is your required angle. This is the angle which I have achieved. So how much gap I need to cover? This has to be known. For that, the output has to be given as a reference to the input for the comparison. This is one of the example for closed loop control system. The same thing is explained here. You can just go through. Okay. You can see here. Yes, in the previous class, I had given one point. You can see it. Need of automation in the control system. I had given that some brief about it. I had shared with you why it is necessary. I had even taken one example of your lighthouse. Okay, imagine 50, 60 years back, going to off, waiting there. So it is a tedious task, and in spacecrafts, in such conditions, desirable. Because of that, we go for automation. So the same thing, the whatever I had discussed, the automated control system, for that, the block diagram is given here. See here, look at this. In order to understand this, I'll just explain you what it is. Okay, the general block of automatic control system with a feedback. Okay, what is the actual operation? It's a general block diagram. Okay, what is happening? Earlier case of driving, that car driving system we have seen. Just imagine that and try to replace the operation with the general block. Okay, what is happening? We will get certain output. Either you can take a speed or the angle of the steering wheel. We will get certain output. That output is given as the feedback to the error detector. This is an important part which will give you the difference amount. How much error has been generated, how much difference is there still to achieve. Okay, and this is your desired value. Okay, output we have got actual value, and this is your desired value. When the difference is calculated, you will get the error, and error detector will do that task with reference to input. If any difference between these two signals exists, that error or that error signal is called actuating signal. It will be given to the control elements. So further, you can just imagine this as some processing. Some changes will occur accordingly. For example, if you are having the example of 50 kilometer speed desired, 40 kilometers you have achieved, the error signal you will get as 10 kilometers per hour. So for 10 kilometers, still you need to increase. So what control element will do? The accelerator pedal, the pressure on it should be increased. So increase in the pressure of the accelerator pedal so that the fuel rate will be increased. In turn, speed will increase. So that is the action in the control element. So this is a general block wherein depending upon the type of control system, this working will change. Its working will change. So finally, after doing some action, you will get the final output. And this is continued, say 50 and 40. Next time, assume that you have got 45 speed. Still 5 difference exist. Again, this is given as a feedback. Then difference is calculated. Difference is 5. Again, further pressure is applied on the accelerator pedal. And then you will achieve, say 49 you will achieve. Again, this is given as a feedback. So 50 minus 49, again 1 kilometer difference. Still further, you will have to increase the pressure, increase the speed, and you will achieve, say 51. Assume. Again, there is a difference. 50 minus 51, 1 kilometer still, but it's an increased value. So what you have to do? You have to decrease the pressure on the accelerator pedal so that the fluid flow will become less. So speed will again come down, and say this time you will achieve 50 kilometers per hour. So this is a general block. And earlier, with an example of automobile car driving system, we have seen this closed loop control system. Now, before explaining this, let me introduce one term to you. For that term, this is the example. Okay. Servo mechanisms. Can anybody tell me what is a servo mechanism? You can put it in the chat box if you know it. What is a servo mechanism? Servo motors, I guess you have studied somewhere, or you might have seen somewhere servo motors. So what is this servo mechanism? What do you mean by servo mechanism? If anybody knows, if anybody wants to answer, you can unmute and answer, no problem. Oh, Aftab is here. Farah, what is a servo mechanism? Have you heard this word anywhere? No, okay, fine. Just now I have explained you already. This is it looks like a new term to you, but it is not. Servo mechanism, again, it is used for a control system, the closed loop control systems, wherein this comes under automated control system. That's what I said you just now. The absence of human element, the presence of human element is not desirable in many cases, in many control systems, wherein the critical tasks are to be performed, and that too at a risk of human's life. So under such conditions, we need to go for automated control systems. So in order to perform those tasks, such automated control systems, wherein that is a closed loop control system, in which whatever controlling mechanism exists, it is all the mechanical positions. For example, let me take one very regular example, routine example of your household water tanks. Okay, the Syntax, what you call. Okay, nowadays everyone has got this 24-hour water supply connections, right? So whenever the water comes, so even though it is 24 hours, but you won't get 24-hour supply. In a day, say for so 1 hour, you will get the good pressure value of the water, so that if your house is at 3rd floor, 4th floor, the water, it can easily be filled in the Syntax. So assume that here you're having the water inside, and once there are walls here, pipelines are there, and once you start using the water, the levels start decreasing. Okay, now automatically this water has to be filled it up. Depending if the water level decreases once you start using it, this water has to be refilled. This has to be done automatically, and this is done by means of opening and closing of valves, mechanical valves, right? So that's what I'm telling, the control element, whatever thing which is controlling this closed loop control system, it is actually a mechanical position. That is mechanical things, valves, the mechanical structures will control this operation. Such systems, we call them servo mechanisms. Okay, so the example of water tank I had just now told you. Now you can see this figure. The same example is given here. Now, in order to gain the better understanding, let us take one example of liquid level indicator, like liquid level H. That is, you can see it, assume that this is your tank and this is your desired output H. Okay, you need to maintain this level, and whenever the water supply comes from this float, depending upon this float, this is actually I think in your 24-hour supply, some balloon will be positioned. I have not seen actually, but you might have seen it. Some balloon will be positioned. Depending upon whether the water level is increasing or decreasing, the valve will either open or close. That is the mechanism used in your 24 hours water supply system. Here, this float, this will be acting like a indicator to you. Whenever this water level changes, this valve, assume that this water, it is going down. Okay, the level is going down by opening of this valve. Okay, valve V1, that is this valve, if it opens, the water will flow out, so the level will decrease. But this is our desired level. We want this level to be maintained constantly, irrespective of whether, whatever may be the conditions, we want this much water to be inside the tank. For that, so obviously अभी क्या हो गया, पानी कम हो गया है. So what has to be done? Error detector is a feedback part wherein there will be two potentiometers here, point A and point B. Whenever there is a difference, the water level decreases, H is your desired output and this is your changed output. Say H is somewhere your reference is 1000 liters, assume, okay? And capital H, you're opening this valve, so it has come down to say 900 liters will do. Through by means of A and point B, there will be an error signal generated, that is error voltage will be generated, and this voltage is supplied to the power amplifier, and this amplified value will drive the motor. Okay, it will run the motor, and this motor is mechanically attached to one more valve. Because of this, since this motor starts working, this valve gets opened, and through this your water supply connection will be there. Through this, water will get inside and the level will again increase. 900 जो है, say, और 100 liters add हो जाएगा and the level is maintained. Now, how to know that सिर्फ 100 liters ही add हुआ है? और ज्यादा भी हो सकता है ना, because there is no limit here. It starts flowing. That is given by means of a float. Float will indicate, it acts as an indicator whether you have achieved the desired level or not. So take this one example of tank level control system, automatic. It is just like your 24 hours power water supply system, wherein the float acts as an indicator. Whenever you are using the water, valve V1 will open, liquid level will decrease, but we want desired level small h. Okay, so after comparison of these two levels, error detector will give you some voltage, error signal, actuator signal, which will drive the motor, and through this motor, one more valve any doubts till this, please you can ask me. So we have discussed about automatic tank control system, tank level control system today. Any doubts you can ask. Further some three or four classes, still we are going to discuss theoretical part itself, the types of control systems, how, what are the developments, how the things happen, what are the limitations, what are the problems. The theoretical part we are going to deal further still 3-4 classes. Then we can switch to the problematic part. Shall I take one more example? This is second example, automatic here. This is a position control system. You can say, see, this is more related to mechanical parts. Just by looking at these figures, the symbols, you may not understand it. For example, here there is a line here. It indicates this load is connected to a shaft. Okay, you might have done a workshop in that. This indicates a generator. This is a motor, amplifier. Again, just like the earlier part, this part indicates your error detector. Okay, the difference, the error signal this will give. Okay, let me just start explaining the second example. A servo system used to position a load shaft. Load is this. Okay, load shaft, it is given. What is happening here is the output and the desired positions. You can see it here. Let me just explain the figure. You can read it by yourself. See, there are two angles, theta R and theta C. Depending upon these are potentiometers, right? So these are the two positions, angular positions. Depending on these angular positions, if there is a difference between these two angular positions, it means there exists certain error. So you have to change the position of the load. It indicates. अगर theta R and theta C, the angular positions में difference नहीं है, if there is a zero value, it means same load shaft का position maintain रहना है. If there is a difference, then you have to change the position. That's what a position control system. You're controlling the position of the load over the shaft. So this is your error detector. So point A and point B indicates their potentiometers. If there exists certain error, theta R minus theta C, you will get say some error value. if error exists, that voltage is given to the amplifier. Error voltage is VE, okay, and that value gets amplified. Through this voltage of the amplifier, generator starts working. Through this electromagnetics, motor will start, motor drives, and motor, through this motor, gears will be driven. Through gears, load which is connected to the shaft, its position will be changed. All mechanical terms I'm telling you, gear, shaft, those things you cannot imagine. You should look, you should try to look, okay. Okay, so what is happening here? Depending upon the angular positions theta r and theta c, the controlled and the desired values, if there exists certain error, if there is a change, position का load का position change होना है या नहीं होना है, it depends on this difference. If there exists certain difference, some error, that error voltage will be amplified and it will drive the generator. Generator will in turn drive the motor. Then gears will be driven. Through gears, this load which is connected to the shaft, its position will be changed. Okay, this is the mechanism. Now let me just read it out. What is with one example? Okay, you can take here to understand. So theta C and theta R, these are the angular positions. They are measured and compared by the potentiometers. Okay, two potentiometers are there. If there exists an error, that error signal, which is proportional to VE, it is given to the amplifier. Okay, it is amplified, and that amplified value, it will be given to the generator, and generator will supply that value to the motor. So from the motor, it will drive the gears. So this is the mechanism. One example they have taken here. Assume that we want output shaft position, that load which is connected to the shaft, it is 0.5 radians. Okay, some position it is given in this direction, at this angle its position should be there. Okay, 0.5 radians. So corresponding to this condition, assume slider arm B and A. B and A are nothing but the potentiometers of your error detector. Point A and point B indicates the potentiometers. The values of the voltages are 50-50. See, 50 volts and 50 volts. If both are 50-50, what is the error? Theta, whatever, theta r minus theta c. So the value will be 0. There is no difference. Error detector will give 0 volts. So 0 volts means it is connected to this output. It is connected to the amplifier. There is no value of the voltage. So no generator, no motor, no gears, no change in the position of the load. This is when there is no difference. A required position is 0.5 radians, and both are maintained. Potentiometers are maintained at 50 volts. So 50 minus 50, you'll get 0 volts. So 0 output means load shaft, जो भी position उसका रहेगा, it will be maintained. That is the output. Now, assume you want the load position to be changed to 0.6 radians. Earlier it was 0.5, now it is 0.6 radians. To achieve this, say one of the potentiometer arm has got 60 volts position. 60 volt है, एक arm का voltage 50 है. There is a difference in the voltages, 50 minus 60, that is 10 volts difference you will get. This 10 volt difference, whatever you will get, the error detector will give that value. It is then amplified. Okay, VE, mathematically it is given here, VE is equal to Kp into theta E. Kp is assumed as 100 volts per radian. That is for your reference. One example it is given here. Some voltage value you will get. Difference is 10 volts. Whatever value you will get, that value is amplified. Through this, DC generator will start. Through this, motor will start. So from the motor, gears are driven. Then because of this gears, the load, main important thing here to be understood is this one. Okay. If there is a difference, if there is no difference, 0 volts, nothing will happen between these two voltages. Then amplified voltage will drive the generator, motor and the gears. As gears are connected to the load, the position of the load will be changed. Okay, these two examples we have seen today. Which are those? One is a water tank. The water level in the tank, that is controlled. This one. The first example is automatic tank level control system. Again, here also error detector, that is two pair of potentiometers, they play an important role. Whatever error comes, that error will drive the motor. Through the motor, valve opening or closing happens. And the second example which we have seen today is position control system. So these two examples come under servo mechanisms, automatic control system, where human element is not desirable. You can't tell any human being to go and manually start the generator, motor, positions, change the load, everything. So this is all done automatically depending upon the values. So these two examples we have seen today. The next is robotics. So again, with the advent and development of servo application of these automatic controls also. So we will see how that works. Before that, I just wanted to ask one thing. I had given one work for you in the previous class. Can anybody tell me what was the question? I had asked you to go through. Hope you remember my question. I had asked one question in the previous class. Okay, Sumayya. लास्ट क्लास में क्वेश्चन क्या था? Okay, Sumayya, fine. Examples of open and closed control system. Yes, the question is very much broader here. Very specific. I had asked to go through the example of washing machine. Okay, you need to tell me whether washing machine, whatever the working. Yes, Farha. तो ओपन लूप है या क्लोज लूप है वॉशिंग मशीन का वर्किंग? You can just unmute and answer, no problem. Open loop, very good. Somebody answered, very good. Muskan, very good. It's an open loop. How you say that it is open loop? You need to justify your answer. No doubt answer is right. Washing machine system, it is an open loop system. You need to justify your answer. You can unmute and answer, no problem. Only 1 minute is left out. Try to answer. Okay, let me answer. No one is answering. So in washing machine, what happens? there are some set of operations. You will set the timer. There will be some predetermined operations like soaking, washing, cleaning, all those step by step, they will uh, occur. Set the timer for 20 minutes, the timer starts decreasing. One each predetermined operation, it is set, it is done, rinsing, whatever, the cleaning, the rinsing, the soaking, in a sequential manner. All these happen and the machine will end at 0. You're not giving any feedback there. You're not giving anything like clean, depending on the cleanliness of the clothes, again restart the work, or feedback of such kind.